sweet, smoky, and a little boozy. Today, barbecue meets the bar. I'm gonna be making Jack Daniels and Coke ribs. I'm gonna marinate them, smoke them low and slow, and then finish in a delicious Jack Daniels and Coke sauce. This is Jack and Coke like you've never had it before.
Hey guys, you've got to check out this amazing conversation with Maciej from Grillin with Dad BBQ. He's an amazing guy. We actually got to film some content together. He gave us huge insight to what it takes to be a creator in today's digital economy, and everything from his website to the content that he creates. And we got into how he went from being, a career guy in the financial community to being a full-time content creator. His wife also was able to quit her job, and now they create content full-time. They do brand deals. We got into all sorts of great details on how they run their business with their family and everything that takes. So it was a really cool conversation with Maciej, Grillin with Dad, and check it out.
I'm Maciej, and this is Grillin with Dad, the channel where I share my easy and super approachable grilling recipes, all made in my backyard. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you're not new, welcome back.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Deuce Raymond podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Maciej with Grillin with Dad Barbecue. How's it going today?
Oh, real good, Deuce. Thanks again for having me. Excited to chat and hang out today.
Oh, it's so cool, man. We got that chance to hang out the other week at your house, and we filmed a couple of videos. That was so much fun to see you work and interact with your wife and your dog and your kids and everything. So it was really cool. So thanks for having me out there.
Yeah, thanks for coming over. Like I said, I'm finishing up those videos. I'm excited to see how they're going to turn out. But it was super cool cooking together. It's always fun to have somebody else here, and just kind of see how they do stuff, show them how I do my video process. So it's always a good time.
That was really cool to see your thought process on doing a collab video. And one thing, it really came in handy because I was at your house on Tuesday, I think, and then on Thursday we had someone over here cooking with Kanke, and he's like the rap master. He does like crazy raps and does really well, gets amazing views and has a great following. So he reached out to us, but anyway, so we were at your house first, and I didn't realize, because of shooting vertically, how close we had to be together to both be on screen. So I was like giving him like the heads up. It's like, okay, we gotta like almost kiss here when we're tasting together. Yeah. So that was really cool. Just to have that experience beforehand. But yeah, we made some really nice recipes. What did we make at your house? We made the
brisket, cheesesteaks.
Oh yes,
remember that was really good. That was, that beautiful smoked brisket, kind of chopped up and then made into a cheesesteak sandwich. That was legit. I added that recipe already to my kind of just like rotation of stuff to make at home, because that was such a good thing, and especially for like leftover brisket too, because you always think, and it's not that I have leftover brisket all that often, but when you do, you always try to kind of come up with ways of using it up something other than like nachos or just like a sandwich. And the cheesesteak was perfect.
Awesome. And then we made the Alabama chicken. That came out amazing too.
That's one of my favorites. That's with that Alabama sauce. What your sauce was so good.
Yeah. And I love cooking it over the charcoal on the Weber grill. You get all that backyard flavor. You get those nice crispy bits, and then dunked in that creamy Alabama sauce. It was awesome.
Yeah, such a good recipe.
Well, let's get into your story a little bit. So how did you get started? You came here from Poland. Did you come early on, or have you been here since you were a kid, or how does that?
Yeah, so we moved to the Chicagoland area from Poland when I was about 10 years old. So I've been here pretty much most of my life.
Okay.
And we've been in this area kind of since then. But I've always enjoyed cooking, even just inside, trying new recipes. But I've always really had a passion for doing stuff outside, just cooking on the grill. And for most of my life, it was all just pretty basic stuff, right? Maybe some chicken, maybe a steak. Never really smoked anything that just seemed like super complicated and kind of, out of reach. And then about 8 or 9 years ago, for Father's Day, my wife got me a new grill. She got me a big green egg it was a total surprise. And she knew I've been talking about this grill. I've been seeing people use it on Instagram. And so the grill got delivered, and just on a whim, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start an Instagram page just to like learn how to use this grill, maybe meet some people, learn some new recipes. No intention of it being anything more than just a, like a little hobby Instagram page. And I got into it like pretty much right away, right? Just, I would go to work, I'd come home.
What were you doing for work at that time?
So my background, my career was in finance and investments.
Oh, okay.
So not, office job, not related to cooking or, taking pictures or making videos or, the recipe videos. But I would go to work, right, every day. And then when I came home, I would fire up the grill and I would cook something every single day. And if you scroll back on my Instagram page, you can see like daily, like finished recipe kind of pictures of stuff that I made. And back then, it all kind of, looked like trash, I guess, looking back at it now, right? I was learning, but I was learning how to cook, how to do different things, how to do like whole chickens, how to do ribs, how to do a brisket. And oh my God, my first brisket cook, that picture still haunts me. When you
my God.
Yeah, but anyways, I just fell in love with it. Just fell in love with cooking outside, grilling, and I just kind of started with the pictures. Then it kind of shifted into short video clips, and then it kind of went into full recipe videos, and the follower base just kind of grew over the years. And now we're able to do it full time and make the content, put stuff out.
And I'm looking at your Instagram with over 730,000 people who follow along with you for all your grilling adventures. How has that changed your family's life to amass that type of following?
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely brought on some pretty amazing opportunities, and kind of even brought me to the, like here today, being able to showcase what I love to do, cooking on the grill, showing how to make these delicious and simple recipes, and sharing with everybody. It's been absolutely amazing.
So when did you really start making like the full videos, and when did you have the first inkling that this could really be something like actually change your career path?
Yeah, so it took a little bit, right? Like for the first year, growth was pretty slow. I was excited to have a couple hundred followers on Instagram because I was just doing this, just after work, post a picture and met some people. And then I would say maybe 2 years into it, after I started posting kind of clips, like short video clips, either like cutting a steak or saucing a rack of ribs. And those videos would get like 20, 30,000 views. And that just kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Who's watching this stuff, but people were liking it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going with it, right? I'm gonna kind of post more of this video content, more clips, and then try to break it up into full recipes, right? So back then, I wouldn't do a full recipe video in kind of one reel. It was split up into two usually, right? So one day I would post kind of the prep, the seasoning, the marinating or whatever. And then the second day, I would do like the actual grilling video of whatever it is that I was cooking and kind of show the finished product. So that was kind of my process. And I would do that every single day. And it just, just kind of grew organically on its own. And, it was pretty fun.
But when you started, you had no intention whatsoever that this was going to be like your full-time job.
No, I had no idea that you could even make money or make a living off of Instagram or social media, right? Because I'm going to turn 44 this year. So I was 37, 36 when I started my Instagram page. I was already kind of working for 15 years. I was pretty good career path, and like I said, no idea that people were even like making money on social media, and the thought of like doing this for a living never crossed my mind.
Yeah, that's wild.
Starting with a bone-in pork shoulder, this was about 8.5 pounds, and I like to score the fat cap on top. I'm not trimming or removing anything. This just allows for more seasoning and smoke to hit the meat. Hit the outside with a thin layer of mustard. This will act as a binder, and for the seasoning, I'm using a mix of my all-purpose and sweet barbecue rubs. One of the best parts about pork is the versatility, so you can honestly use any seasoning here that you like. Just be sure to get all sides, and you want to get it nicely coated like that. Let that hang out for about 30 minutes, and next it goes on the smoker. It's cruising at 225 degrees and smoke until it hits about 160 or 170 internal. This took about 6 hours, and this is what it's looking like.
it is amazing how many success stories you come across, stories similar to you, or, people like, Mr. Beast is kind of like the ultimate case of that, where he has just taken it to the extreme, but like totally built his career and his mindset around YouTube. And yeah, it's just amazing. There's definitely some pros and cons to social media, but I think the pros outweigh the cons.
No, for sure.
It's very interesting, the amount of information. Like, you could take anything, not just barbecue, but any niche, and just the amount of content that is available online is just mind-blowing. Because I know, for my feed, it's like a mix between barbecue, basketball, and fitness, but the amount of barbecue content out there is just mind-blowing.
It's definitely grown a lot, over the last couple of years, especially since COVID is when, a lot of people got into it, because people were home, right? They were working from home, and they'd have to cook. So they're like, let's record a video, let's take the phone out and post it on TikTok. And it just kind of blew up for a lot of guys that way. But
is that when you saw a lot of growth? Was during COVID?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. COVID was a really big time for social media, especially for TikTok. That's when that platform really kind of hit its stride, like back then. So during my first year on TikTok, I got up to 1 million followers within that first year, just from posting every video that you posted would just get insane views, because everybody was on TikTok. There weren't as many people making content, so they were pushing all those videos out to everybody. Yeah. Now it's different. It's a little harder to get those kinds of views.
Yep.
But so many more people are making cooking content, grilling, barbecue, just cooking inside, and it's fun to see all of it, because that's how I learn all the stuff I make at home. Right, it's just from seeing other people, learning from them, watching YouTube videos, and kind of applying it to what I do.
It's kind of cool to watch online, and then you can learn stuff, but then you also see what people do, stuff that you've done before. And it's it's always like, imitation is the best form of flattery, and I really appreciate seeing some of that stuff. So thinking about it, like, if someone's listening that wants to grow their channel or get more into recipe development, what platforms do you mainly focus on, and what's kind of your thought process behind those platforms?
Yeah, so right now we post on all platforms, but it's the same content, right? So I don't edit anything differently for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So we make one video, and the same video gets posted on all the platforms, and that's the biggest advice for anybody who's looking to start or starting in social media. Post on all the platforms, right? You already have the video, you already made the content, so just blast it out on as many platforms as you can. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's a couple minutes to post the video on TikTok and Instagram, and that just kind of reaches such a different audience across all the different platforms. When I look at my demographics, Facebook is different from TikTok, from Instagram, right? So I'm trying to hit as many different people as I can, and posting on these platforms really helps us do that.
Welcome to the first episode of my brand new series where I introduce you to unique cuts of meat. My goal is to show you what else is out there, get you comfortable with cuts that maybe you're not familiar with, how to prep them, how to cook them. So next time you see it at your local grocery store, you can pick one up and try it yourself at home. And to kick things off, I'm gonna cook one of my personal favorites, this beautiful flat iron steak. If you like tender steaks and beefy steaks, this might be the perfect cut for you. It's like the mix of a beef tenderloin, which is super tender, but not as beefy, not as flavorful, with a ribeye that has a little bit more chew, but is packed full of that beefy flavor. I picked these up at my local Costco. They just started showing up, so I think they have them there for the holiday season. So if you want to try this one out, check your local store. These are American Wagyu, and they are absolutely delicious. Here, check this out. You can see this beautiful marbling, and this is, I think, 2 steaks in the package. Now this one, so let's see. So this is $14.99 a pound for Wagyu beef, which is pretty much unheard of. This is cheaper than USDA Prime, and you get this amazing quality. So let's take this out, and I'll show you guys a little bit more.
Now, for YouTube, do you do any long form content, or is everything you do the shorts, similar to what you do on TikTok or Reels?
So we try. So long form YouTube videos are such a different kind of beast from the short form vertical videos. You know, it's much harder to make a video that's like 10 or 15 minutes long, that's kind of fun to watch, interesting, doesn't get boring. And we're like, I'm still learning that, right? We try to put out long form content. We haven't been as successful with it as with our shorts, with the short videos that we do. But we're still learning. I'm still trying, you know, experimenting with different formats, different kind of editing styles, just to see what will, you know, work for us. But we do try to put out the long form content as well.
Now, did I see your silver plaque back there from YouTube? So was that followers generated by mostly the short form, or was it long form, would you say?
So on YouTube, for us, the shorts is what drives a lot of the growth. And I think it's the same for most guys, because, you know, it's just easier for that short video to get a couple 100,000 or 1 million views and get you maybe 10 or 20,000 new subscribers. But it doesn't necessarily really translate into, you know, monetizing as well as a long form video, right? Because there's not as much ads on that video. There's not as much, you know, room for YouTube to put those, you know, ads in that video. So you don't make as much on the short form stuff as you would on a long form video.
Right. You know, I've talked to Malcolm a few times over the years, and Malcolm Reed of How to Barbecue Right, if anyone doesn't know, but he's kind of like, he's done so much for the barbecue community in context with social media. Like he was like one of the first guys to start on YouTube, and he nailed it in the beginning. And it was actually, he gives credit to his wife on how to name his channel, because people search like how to smoke a brisket, how to do ribs, and his channel is How to Barbecue Right. And he really got it figured out. But he was talking to Heath and myself last time we were together about like the long-term monetary benefits of doing long-form videos, because those videos live on forever, and people are always going to want to learn how to, you know, there's always new users on these platforms, and people are always going to want to learn how to smoke a brisket. And like the content that's been out there for a long time that has a lot of views, those things will come up, you know, in your search feed and stuff like that. So he was definitely, you know, and from, you know, a making money point of view, to monetize those channels, like long form YouTube pays the best as well, like you were saying.
That's been our goal, like I said, for a while now, trying to grow the long form videos. And even the videos that we have now, when I look at my analytics, you know, like you mentioned, we still get paid on videos that I posted 3-4 years ago, long form video, because people still look at them, right? You don't get as much views maybe as the current stuff that we're doing, but it's still something. And if you have a, you know, big enough library of content on YouTube, like all that stuff will add up, and you get a nice little payment every month for the videos that are just living there, you know, over the years. So.
Yeah. No, it's really, really interesting. And that's something that we're just going to start. We've done a few long form YouTube shoots, but we're going to start doing more of it. But it's like, it takes a whole production. And Matt, our marketing manager, was explaining to me, like, when you make a short and you can go to edit a short, it's much easier, one, because it's less content, but also the way that the platforms have it set up, it's like easy to edit and add special features like right inside the platform. But when you do a long form video, you're on your own. You have to do it outside the platform in Adobe or whatever platform you're editing in, and then upload it into YouTube. And there's no bells and whistles, like anything text overlay or any special effects or anything like that have to be added beforehand. And then when you upload it on YouTube, that's it. It's just like whatever content you're putting in there. So that leads me to, how did you learn how to edit? Because you had told me when we were at your house, is like you do, your wife does pretty much all the filming, and then you do all the editing. So how did you learn that? That wasn't, you know, something that you came from.
Yeah, I just kind of really learned as I went. So for the longest time, so up until maybe 2.5 years ago, I did all our filming, all our content was done on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Right. So no fancy equipment, no special cameras. I would film everything on my phone. I used a free app called InShot. I think a lot of guys still use that. It's a really good app, especially for beginners, because it's very simple to use. I mean, it has a bunch of features, but all the basic stuff is very easily accessible So I just kind of played around with that app, figured out how to use that, and I edited on my phone, uploaded to Instagram, from my phone, and just kept everything on my iPhone. And then about 2.5 years ago, we switched to a big camera. We use a big Sony camera now. Not because I didn't like the phone, but using a bigger camera just gives your content kind of a different look. Has a different feel when you watch the video. So now we edit on my computer on Final Cut Pro, and that's a little bit more, more of a kind of professional program, but it's also pretty simple. Just watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to use it, how to use all the features, and if there's something that I don't know, I can always just kind of look it up and find a way to do stuff with it. So, but all of it was just kind of trial and error. Just kind of going through the motions, practicing, filming, editing, posting, seeing how stuff did, and then kind of taking notes and trying to improve for our next video.
I'm super excited to announce that our 2 newest rubs are now available. Sweet barbecue and maple bourbon will add the right amount of sweet to all your recipes. Sweetened with honey powder, our sweet barbecue rub is perfectly balanced, sweet, savory, and perfect on all proteins. Try it on chicken, salmon, veggies, pork, and if you love ribs, it'll make the best ribs you've ever had in your life. Next, we've got our maple bourbon rub, packed full of natural bourbon flavor, maple, and the right amount of spice. It's perfect as a seasoning and as a finisher on your cooked proteins. Try it on chicken wings to make the best and easiest maple bourbon wings you've ever had. Seasoned, grilled, and finished with the rub, it's the perfect mix of sweet and savory. Both rubs are now available on my website, shopgwd.com. I can't wait for you guys to try these out and see what you make with them.
How did you get into the rub business? What was the thought process with that?
Rub, yeah. So the rubs we launched 2 years ago. I think the first one we did, the all-purpose rub, and really it was like I would get a bunch of comments, messages from my audience. People were saying, like, hey, you should do a rub, you should do a seasoning. We'd support it, we'd get it. And I'm like, what? There's so many good seasonings, right? I mean, and right, the rub, the sauce market is so saturated. There's really a lot of good stuff out there, right? But but the people kept asking. They kept asking, and I had some basic recipes that we kind of used at home for the videos that we made for like an all-purpose rub. So I'm like, let's just do this all-purpose seasoning. Let's just see how it goes. We'll bottle it. We'll sell it, and if it does well, great. If not, that's cool too. At least the people who were asking for it will get a bottle, and we'll leave it at that. But so we launched the rub, and it's been selling really well, right? So we started with the one all-purpose rub, and then over the last 2 years, we added 4 other flavors. So we have 5 total now. And they've been selling great. We just got into some retail stores, which is amazing. So it's now when I look at the seasonings, it's more of a separate kind of business from the social media, right? It's more of having an actual product, that we can sell, that we can market ourselves, we can sell it, we can market it on our videos, and it's not reliant on sponsors, on brands, on the platforms, right? It's its own kind of thing that we can sell ourselves.
Yeah, that's really it's really awesome, and it's awesome to have a platform to be able to sell something, because I know from our products at Deuce as well, is like when we have a video that really performs well when we're using those products, you can really see the correlation with sales from the Shopify site. I mean, it's amazing to see, and now I smile every time I see, other barbecue guys using your dad's rubs like frequently online. I'm like, that's amazing. It's really cool.
Yeah, people see it, like it's, like I said, we use it in our videos, and, and I also use other brands. It's not that we just use this. I also love to promote, my friends' products, other products that I like to use, the JD sauce, your stuff, like it's a mix, because the way that we approach our content, the way that I look at the videos that we make and we put out is the stuff that I cook. Like what we cook at home is what we eat for dinner, right? So so it's all just kind of regular everyday type of meals. And even though we have 5 different seasonings, right, we try to add other stuff into it, so it's not always the same tasting chicken that we eat for dinner or steak or whatever, so and I think that's one of the reasons why people like the stuff that we put out, is because it's stuff that they can make at home too, right? It's nothing too fancy, nothing too, crazy recipes with like 50 ingredients. It's usually stuff that you probably have at home already. And I just show you how to season it, how to grill it, and, it's ready to go from that.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely a great approach. I think that that's what the type of content people want to see. Like, I'm always conscious of that. Like, sometimes I'm in the kitchen. A lot of times I'm in the kitchen here and I use a Southern Pride smoker, and I know, hardly anyone has a Southern Pride smoker. So, but when we're in the backyard, I'm using the Weber grills or, the drum smoker, stuff that's more applicable to what people actually have access to, and try not to make it too complicated.
Yeah. And that's also one reason kind of why not switch, but I guess we started using the Weber products a little bit more on our videos. So when I started, right, it was all Big Green Egg, because that's what kind of got me on social media, was that Big Green Egg grill. But people would always comment. I would get messages saying, hey, man, that's like a $1,500 grill. I can afford it. How can I make this on a different grill? And the process is the same. It doesn't really matter, right, what grill you're using. As long as you follow the same method, you can cook the recipe on any cooker, but people still want to see, right? They want to see, oh, this guy's making it on a kettle. I've got a kettle at home, so I can make this recipe, right? If you, just like you're doing on a Southern Pride smoker in the restaurant, like people might see it and be like, well, I don't have that. I'm not going to make it because I don't have this big, expensive, smoker at home. But if you do it on a kettle, they're like, oh, shoot, I got that. Right. I can make the same recipe and it looks really good and it's pretty simple. So
yeah, no, that's really cool.
Today we're making a pressa steak with chimichurri.
Let's try one for my butt. Something's wrong. It's the kids who think they don't belong. It's the kids who have nowhere to run, who are hiding in the shadows, waiting for the sun. I've seen a lot of I've talked to a bum out on Sunset Strip. He asked me, how would you feel if everybody acted like you didn't exist? You'd lose your grip, probably eventually flip. So let it be known, the only reason that we do this so you can pick it up and just bang your head.
So in the last couple of years especially, I've noticed, there's a great barbecue community. And I've been in the barbecue business for the last 20 years. So with restaurants and catering and then competition, but now there's a whole like influencer, barbecue educator group of guys. And then I see you going with, whether it's Tony from
TFC.
And Al Fragoni and all those guys. But you're being invited to these events and you're going down to Memphis in May. Like, how does that make you feel? And what are those experiences like when you get all those barbecue guys together?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So when I first started on social media, like there really wasn't this big kind of community feel to it, It was like people start talk. Like I met a bunch of cool guys, but it was more of a, everybody's kind of out for themselves, learning, figuring out this, this social media piece. But now it's much more collaborative. People want to help each other out. Like even like when we did our videos together, like, I don't want you to do well, because if you succeed, that also kind of helps me out, because maybe it brings in new eyes onto our, barbecue scene or social media videos. So just like with the other guys, like with Tone or Al, it's cool to hang out and talk to them and kind of get their input, right? Just like you saw how I do my videos, it's cool for me to see how they do their content, kind of the thought process that goes into it, get their feedback on stuff that I've made. So it helps, it helps everybody in the end, right? Like we're all trying to do our best and be successful. And I think if we work together, it's much easier to kind of achieve that goal than trying to do it on yourself, with
100%. There's a friend I have out in California, Sean from Cali BBQ, and he's created this whole like media business, and he really promotes like the tech side of the hospitality industry, and that's like his market of who he doesn't do cooking videos. He does videos that like help connect people in the hospitality industry to these tech companies, that whether it's Toast as a platform for using a POS, or 7 Shifts that does staffing for hospitality companies. But his saying, he says it all the time, a rising tide lifts all ships. And I think about that all the time. And it's the same in the barbecue community is, the better that you do is going to reflect on us. And, it's all good. It's like, so much better doing things together than trying to keep it separate. I agree with that 100%. Yep. What is next for Grilling with Dad? What do you guys have down the pipe? More videos or any other events coming up? What else are you working on?
Yeah, so definitely kind of continuing on with the videos. Like I said, we're trying to learn and kind of figure out this whole long form YouTube thing. And we've been at it for a couple of years, but we'll kind of keep going at that. And I'd like to do more or add different seasonings or different flavors to our spice lineup. Kind of expand it a little bit more. I would love to do a sauce, but it's such a different animal than a dry rub. And I'm sure you know that very well, right? It's much simpler to mix up a dry seasoning. And like I've been messing around with different sauce recipes that we're trying to do, and like I'll make a batch, right? I'll simmer it and I'll taste it, like, oh, that tastes really good, right? Then I put it in a little mason jar, it goes in the fridge for like 2-3 days. Then I taste it, I'm like, oh, this tastes nothing like it did when it was fresh, and I want it to taste like that, not how it tastes now. So
it's like a 2-week process of like getting it to sit right, and then you're tasting it again. I'm like, well, how do I make it change after it's been sitting for 2 weeks?
And then you put it on a food, right? Or you get something on the grill, then you brush it on, and then again it tastes different. So we're kind of messing around with that a little bit, and kind of all that kind of experimenting is also kind of fun and part of the process, right? Because that's how then I learned how to make this stuff, how to mix it, how to make it taste good. So it's all kind of all part of the experience, I guess. So
Tomorrow is National Taco Day, so today we're making cheesy chicken enchilada tacos. Big shout out to Old El Paso for this amazing PR box with so many of their delicious products. For my tacos, I'm using a store-bought rotisserie chicken to keep things super simple. Shred the meat, place it into a cast iron skillet, add a whole can of red enchilada sauce from Old El Paso, and cover everything with shredded cheese. I've got my kettle fired up with charcoal on both sides and an indirect cooking zone right in the middle. Cast iron skillet goes right in the center, cover, and for the shells, I'm using these cheese-flavored stand and stuffed shells. When the cheese is nice and melty in the skillet, move it off to the side, warm up your shells, pull everything off, and now it's time to assemble. The cheesy chicken enchilada mix is looking and smelling amazing. Go with a big scoop into those shells, finish it off with some cilantro, and these chicken enchilada tacos are ready to go. That approved. These are so good. Oh yeah.
It's someone that is, producing content online and looking for other revenue streams. One way is to like do brand deals or work with other brands and things like that. And how do you go about like choosing which brands you work with? Is it you reaching out? Are they reaching out to you at this point? And how does that process work?
Yeah, so brand deals are they have definitely changed over the years. So when I first started, right, or I guess anybody who's kind of newer to social media, right? Usually at first a brand, once you get a little bit of a following, brands will reach out and might offer you a free product, right? Say, hey, here's a bottle of sauce or some seasoning, we love your videos. Maybe you can use it next time. And then as your following kind of grows, then that free product might change to, hey, here's $100 to use our stuff in your video, right? And then it kind of grows into even more, right, as your follower base grows. But in the beginning, right, it was kind of a mix. Like I would reach out to some brands that I liked, stuff that I use, and I would ask them if they're interested in working together. Brands would also reach out. Now we're at the point where we pretty much kind of have our set of sponsors that we've been working with for a few years, and it's that same group that we just kind of renew and work with every. Plus, we'll get some new stuff, kind of one-off type of deals throughout the year. But for me, at least, and also for the brand, the best value is kind of the longer-term partnerships, because I then use the products all the time, right? My audience sees it all the time. It's not like a one-time video of me using, here's this grilling product, and then I never use it again, right? Like nobody's going to remember that. Nobody's going to go out to the store to buy it just because I used it one time, right? But if I use it over and over again, right, people see it all the time, then it kind of provides much more value for the brand, more value for me, right? Makes it much more authentic because it's something that I'm using all the time rather than just for a paycheck one time, right?
Right. That's what I look at as well. I think it makes so much more sense to partner with brands that you're already using or that you would use on a regular basis, because it's really tough. Like we just did a brand deal with Kansas City Steaks for Father's Day, and it was a one video deal. And it's like, it was worthwhile for us. They paid us decently for the video, and I got some awesome tomahawk steaks out of the deal, to make on the video and eat and everything. But showing it one time, it's hard to get the value out that, as opposed to like Southern Pride. It's a product we have in the kitchen. I have a great relationship with the owner of the company, and it's always there. So anytime I'm in the kitchen, it's going in the Southern Pride, and I do the same thing every time, know, and people see it over and over and over again. But yeah, it's a one-time deal. Is tough to show value to them.
Yeah. And really, like I mentioned, using to try to get new kind of deals, new sponsors is kind of like you mentioned, is you start using the product, right? Mm-hmm. So use the seasoning, use the sauce, use the grill, and just tag them, right? Tag them in your story, tag them in your post. And, they might not see all the content that you're putting out, but at some point, eventually, somebody on that side is going to see it. And they're like, oh, look at this guy is really liking our products. He's really liking our stuff. He's using it. Maybe we can work something out. Maybe we can partner up and, do a sponsored post or something like that. So that's honestly the best way to show yourself in front of the brand that you want to work with.
That's such great advice. And, honestly, Gary V, who anybody that follows branding and marketing on social media probably knows Gary Vaynerchuk. He says the same thing. It's like, if you want to work with Nike, start posting videos about Nike products like over and over and over again. It's like, act like they're paying you before they start paying you. Right. And then you have a much better chance to actually go through with the deal. And I have to use that, some of that advice on some of the brands that I want to be working with too, because it's true. It's like they see that you're adding value and you're not even getting paid. So if they did decide to pay you, how much more would you be willing to give?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And some guys that I know, like they're all against kind of tagging brands or mentioning them in stories or posts unless they're getting, paid for it. Mm-hmm. Which, that's kind of the other kind of school of thought. But like I said, I like to tag. I'm going to tag every brand that I'm using, whether I'm being paid or not paid, whether it's a sponsor or not, because it's still that I'm using, right? So I want that brand to see that I like the products, I like sharing it. And then a lot of times people will then ask, if I don't tag somebody, they're like, hey, what sauce was that? Or what skillet are you using? Where's that from? So that also helps answer those questions, because people can see right away, like, oh, it's this XYZ
clad pan.
Yeah. So it kind of, helps the brand get you noticed, and also helps your audience know exactly what you're using if they want to, use the same stuff.
Yeah. Love it. I think that's spot on for sure. So what does your wife think about the whole Grilling with Dad ethos and kind of you guys? And she was in marketing before she actually quit her job and started working full-time with Grillin' with Dad?
Yeah, so she was, her background was in marketing. So she used to work at Reynolds consumer products. So they make the aluminum foil, and she was on the marketing team. So she saw from the early stages of, my Instagram page that there might be potential or stuff, that we could do with this down the road. So even when I kind of floated the idea of going full time with this, it wasn't just a complete shock, because she saw that, it's definitely possible. There's things that we can do to improve. And then she quit her job about almost 3 years ago now to kind of go full time with me, because it got to the point again where I'm like, listen, either I'm going to have to bring somebody kind of to work with me, maybe part time, maybe not, but they probably have to come to the house, bring this stranger, have to pay them while you're working, so it just seems kind of silly. I'm like, so why don't you just quit your job? We can both, we can try it together. If it doesn't work, or you hate working with me, or if I hate, you can always go back and go back to your job. And so we tried it. Well, I mean, it was a learning experience and a process, like it's one thing kind of living together, being married, but then working together on top of that definitely adds another kind of layer of complexity to the relationship.
For sure.
But and then just basically being with each other, right? Like literally 24 hours a day, right? Like we work from home, we cook together, we make the videos, the rest, like it's literally every minute almost of the day together, right? So it took some learnings on both sides to kind of get into our groove and figure things out. But now it's awesome, right? Like I know what I have to do. She knows what she has to do. She handles like the website, the recipes. She's much more organized than I am, right? So a lot of the stuff that we're able to do is honestly because of my wife, because she's got the plan in place. Even though the season, a lot of that was on her, working on the label designs, working with her co-packer, just staying on top of things. So she's been great. So I think that's also one reason why we work so well together is she's much because of kind of her personality and the structure that she needs, and I'm more of a we'll figure it out, as it grows. like we're such opposites that's why it works so together, like she keeps me in line to make sure that we actually follow up and do the things that we said we're going to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I know that must have been a struggle in the beginning, but it sounds like you guys really did find your stride, and you both have your responsibilities, and you guys are making it work. And I saw it firsthand. I mean, she was on it, dude. When we went to the house, she made sure we got each shot. She was like in between shots. She was like staying organized. If something had to be cleaned or reset on the frame, she was on top of it.
No, it's definitely been great. It's been fun. Plus, it's cool. I'm so happy that we can kind of show our kids too what we're doing. That mom and dad are working together. We're kind of working with each other. Working from home, kind of having our own business and being successful at it. Kind of hopefully shows them that you can really do whatever you want.
It's
right?
the American dream. I mean, it really is. It's really cool.
So
that's awesome. It's so cool. And your dog Jax, he makes some star appearances in the videos sometimes too. I got to meet him. He was so friendly, man. Just right away, he was so stoked that someone else was at the house.
Yeah, he's always, when people show up, he's always so excited, and especially when we're cooking in the back, he's always just kind of, keeping his eye, and if anything kind of drops down, or he can get something, a little snag. But
now he's got his own brand deal too.
This is the best one for your dog. I've shared a lot about the farmer's dog before, and if you've wanted to try it, today's a great day to get one free first box of fresh food while supplies last. Everything is shipped directly to your door, and all the meals arrive in packs that are pre-portioned for your dog's needs. So there's no guesswork, no vague scoop serving suggestions. The farmer's dog is real food. It's fresh, whole meat and vegetables with all the nutrients your dog needs, and you can see it exactly in the bowl. And this is why dinner time is Jax's favorite time of the day.
Yeah, that was so funny. Like we worked with Farmer's Dog.
That's so amazing, dude. I love that so much. I can't tell you like how cool that is to me that you're branding outside of barbecue, outside of cooking, everything like that. It's
and that's
so
been
awesome.
Like this whole push to kind of expand into other stuff other than just grilling has been great. It's kind of, we're trying to lean more on that side of grilling with that, right? We got the grilling part covered, right? We do the recipes, the videos. Now we're trying to do more of like what dad does, right? Like, we got to feed the dog, or we go on trips, we go camping, we go on a picnic, right? We do other stuff with the family to kind of document and show that, and people like to see it. Like the response has been great from those types of videos that we put out, because it kind of shows you the kind of human part of it, right? Like, okay, we know this guy does the recipe videos, but what else do they do? What else do they do in their free time? Do they hang out? Do they, and it's been fun to kind of show that and share it with our audience.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's something that when we took our show from, we have Barbecue Like a Boss, what's in the catering kitchen. Now we started to become be a backyard boss. And that's when we film at our house. And then we get the kids involved. We made pizzas. We made taco bowls. We have them tasting on camera. And it's funny because you capture those moments, their funny expressions, or, it's, and they like it too. Some people ask me, well, do you want them on social media and stuff? I was like, it's up to them, but they are all about it. They want to see, they always say, okay, when's the video coming out? We want to see it. I'm like, oh, it's in a week or so. So it's cool to see them excited about it.
Yeah, our kids are about the same. Like they like to be in the videos. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I don't push it on them. I'm like, okay, we're doing it. Like, I'm like, if you want to do it, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. But like they're friends from school now. They're teachers. Like everybody follows, so they kind of know what's going on. And if it's like a bigger campaign or like a cool video that they're in, and they always kind of go and like tell their friends, like, oh, I was in this video we did with so and so, and So it's just kind of fun, fun to do all that stuff.
It is cool. Yeah. I mean, now, have you noticed when you're walking around town or in a grocery store, do people stop you and say, hey, I see your videos? And how does that make you feel when you get some of that recognition going on?
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it's definitely, so either a lot of times kind of in the town where I live, a lot of kind of local people follow me, so they know, so they'll say hi all the time. Usually like airports or like bigger places where there's large crowds. I'm usually going to run into one or two people who are going to say, love your content, hi, love your stuff. But I probably get a bigger kick out of it than whoever is that's saying hi to me. It's also surreal because like in my mind, like I know we do the content, but I'm just a guy who's grilling at home and cooking and like this person kind of follows that. They enjoy it and they like it enough where they kind of recognize me just out in the open. And so I'm always excited when that happens. So if you listen and you follow me and you see me, don't be shy, say hello because I love when it happens. It's so cool.
It's 100%. I know. And I mean, it's really interesting to me too, because I don't think about it all the time. We film the videos and everything, but then just walking through the grocery store, someone stops you and be like, hey, you're a Deuce, barbecue like a boss. Or it's kind of funny, like when I go to like a barbecue event or something where I know all the guys, it happens like now in the last few years, someone always just calls me, it's the barbecue boss, and it's just, I get such a kick out of it. It's so funny. Oh, I know why I wanted to talk about the website stuff. Okay. So, Maciej, we've talked in the past. You came over to the catering office a few months ago, and we got in a discussion about how your website is set up. Now, I thought this was very interesting and something that I really learned a lot, and we haven't changed anything yet. But so you have a main website, and then your Shopify website is set up separately. Can you just tell the audience why you did it like that, and what are the benefits?
Yeah, so we have two sites. So one website is the store where we sell the seasonings. So it's shopgwd.com, right? That's the Shopify store. And then we have a second website, grillinwithdad.com, and that's our recipe website.
Okay.
And it's kind of two separate things. So the recipe website, we're monetizing that with ads on the website, right? So like when you go on a recipe post online, right, usually you'll see like either a pop-up or some ad on the site, right? When you go to those sites, the person who made the website is getting paid every time those ads show up, right? So that's one way that we were able to monetize and cover our expenses and provide the recipe for free to our audience, right? Because so before we did the website, the recipe site, I would type the whole recipe in the caption, right? Like on Instagram or whatever. But then people would still message me saying, hey, do you have any good like rib recipes or steak recipes? And then it's not really easy to look for that stuff, like on Instagram to find a post, steaks or whatever. So I'm like, do we need a database just to have our recipes so I can just send everybody to that website and they can look and find exactly what they need, right? So we made the recipe website a few years ago, and now any new recipe that we make, we always kind of do the full write-up on the site, kind of explaining the process, the ingredients, the measurements, the directions, and then if somebody needs stuff, they can just go on the site, they can research, they can find what they want, get the recipe without having to scroll through Instagram and trying to find the video that you saw, right? And then that website now gets traffic from like Instagram, from our social media videos, and then it also gets organic kind of Google search traffic for people looking for recipes.
Yeah. Do you manage the website yourself, or do you have a company that, like, if you add something new or change pictures or whatever like that, do you have someone that does that for you? Do you pay a company to do it, or how do you do that?
We do it all ourselves. We did use a company to set that up. We've gone through a few different iterations of the site, kind of updates over the years. And the last one that we used was a company who only focuses on food blogs and recipes. So they kind of know how to build a site where it's optimized for search. So it kind of shows up when you look for stuff on Google. And then they kind of lay everything out for you. So I know exactly how to add new posts, add new recipes, like kind of rearrange stuff. So we can do it all ourselves. And it's really simple. It's actually super easy. And then we just add as many recipes as we can anytime we have something new. And kind of promote it in our newsletter, right? We link all the recipes on social media, so all the traffic gets pushed to the website.
That's awesome. That's so smart. And I never realized that till you said it. And then kind of looking back, I remembered a conversation I had with Susie Bullock of Hey Grill. Hey, she has it the same way where she's been doing it for like 12 years now. Her recipe page is extensive, man.
Oh, she's got thousands. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
She has done an amazing job building her community and building her revenue from what you were just talking about, the ad revenue on her website, as well as all the products she has and the views she gets on social and everything. But the way she looks at her business is website first, and then everything else is after that. And that is really paid off for her in the long run.
It's, the one thing, and I also made a post about this a while back on Instagram, is if you're looking to really commit to social media, to maybe have a plan of doing it full-time, or you're kind of making the switch to going full-time, the best thing you can do, or you should do, it's almost a must-have, is to kind of diversify your streams of revenue with your income. Right? If, let's say, and you saw this back in like 2021, 22, especially with TikTok being so big, a lot of guys kind of ended up quitting their jobs because they got some big brand deals because of TikTok. And then those deals dried up and your money dried up, right? So you didn't have money coming in from any other sources. So the best thing you can do is do different streams of income. So you can do the brand deals, right? Sponsors. You can do monetization directly from the platform. So like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, right? They pay for views on Reels. YouTube pays for views on those videos. You get money coming in from the website like we're doing. You have money coming in from the rub sales, like we'll sell t-shirts and hats and merch and stuff like that. So all of that together is what, allows us to do this full time. If we just try to do it from one of these, it wouldn't be nearly enough to kind of survive and then pay our bills and then do what we have to do. So try to do as much as you can and kind of put all that into your income bucket, and then, that should be enough.
And the way that it's been explained to me as well is like all the social stuff, the views on social and everything, that's really good, but that's like getting income from an outside source. Like you don't have ownership of YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. You own your website. So it's like you want to prioritize that and make sure that website is working for you as much as you can. Just like how when you get email addresses from people that place orders on your shop website, you own that email, and then you can remarket them and send them, 15% off, or on their birthday send them a coupon, or just even send them, like you're saying, like a newsletter or something like that.
Yeah.
That's like your owned property versus like social is more like rented, like it's not necessarily yours. Because it could go away. We saw it with TikTok. They banned it. It was very short-lived and kind of politicized with Trump and all that stuff. But it was, they could go away tomorrow. I just saw my sister just emailed or texted me earlier today, like there was this huge Meta data breach or something like that. And, who knows when it's going to go away. So take as much ownership as you can where you can.
Yeah, plus the kind of the social media platforms, they change their algorithms all the time. So, we might have our stuff that does really good for a couple months. All the videos are going really well. Then something changes with the algorithm, and all of a sudden, your videos aren't getting the views that they were getting before, right? And you're not getting as many sales because your videos aren't doing as good, right? So trying to diversify is super important. And
that's really good advice.
Courses,
Yeah, they don't only change the algorithms, they change how you pay versus how many views. Like 1 month, when nothing really changes, and you go from getting, $1,500 in a month to $32 the next month, and you're like, I don't think anything changed, except for they just decided to change the way they're paying their creators. You know?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Oh, yeah. This sauce is really good. So there you have it, Jack Daniels and Coke ribs, tender, smoky, delicious, coated with this sweet, boozy barbecue sauce that just takes it over the top. I'm Maciej with Grillin with Dad, where we keep grilling simple and delicious. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see me next. And I hope to see you at the grill.
Well, man, this has been so much fun. I cannot wait to have you out at our shop or at my house to do another set of videos, because that was really cool to see.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that nice mature place. Like I said, I'm going to try to finish the edit on these, because they were really fun. I mean, the videos I think are going to be great, but also the recipes, like the food was really good, right? Like it wasn't just, it didn't only look cool, like it actually tasted really good. So I'm excited.
No, that brisket sandwich, when we cut into it, it was just like super juicy, like really, really money. And then the sandwich itself, like it had all the flavor you could ever want in a sandwich, that's for sure. Yeah. It was really good.
That was really good.
Man, Maciej, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on the podcast. Can't wait to do more with you, man. So thank you.
Thank you so much, dude. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Awesome. We did a good job. We got through most of it, I feel like.
It's been pretty good. Nice little talk, and just hanging out.